During all those years, the CIA and KGB square off. Both sides try to perfect the technology of eavesdropping. The CIA wants a surveillance machine that can literally be a fly on the wall. And to do it, they need to invent something decades ahead of its time.
The CIA doesn't want to just see what's going on. They have spy planes for that. They want to listen in on top secret Soviet meetings. So they turn to bugs.
Audio bugs are tiny listening devices that can be planted anywhere. To avoid them, the KGB starts meeting outdoors and never in the same place twice, which makes it very difficult for anyone to place a bug and listen to a meeting.
They need a new listening device, one that's mobile, completely inconspicuous, suited for the outdoors, and delivers reliable audio.
So, in the early 70s, the CIA assigns Don Reiser from the Office of Research and Development the job of creating a new outdoor bug, specifically one that looks like a dragonfly.
He and his team come up with a brand new, unmanned, flying listening device that's tiny. Voila! The Insectoopter is born.
The Insectoopter is 2.5 inches long and weighs just under a gram. It is a massive improvement in miniaturization.
It's hard to overstate how astounding the scale of this tech is. It's an engine, laser sensor, wings, all weighing less than a small paperclip.
The Insectoopter is a listening device that has no audio equipment on it. It has no microphone. Instead, it listens with light.
The CIA has perfected a system that can convert light into sound. By tracking how a reflected beam changes, they can hear through light.
Aim a laser at a window and collect the reflections. Whenever someone on the other side of the window talks, it causes the window to vibrate microscopically. A sensor can collect those vibrations and convert them back into sound.
The trick is in using something called a retroreflector.
A retroreflector is a special lens array that bounces light right back to its source.
Aim a light into a cat's eyes, and they glow. The reason why is because their eyes are natural retroreflectors. They reflect light back without scattering it. And Reiser sees this as the solution to bugging the increasingly frequent outdoor meetings.
The biggest challenge is how do you actually get this obvious bundle of lenses within range to listen to an outdoor meeting?
Hiding the retroreflectors in a bug-shaped bug will blend in perfectly outdoors, but there's still a lot to figure out.
You can't just put a bug on a trash can and hope that the KGB have a meeting within listening distance of that trash can. You need the bug to actually fly from location to location and land so it can listen in on the targets.
600 feet of flight becomes the goal. At first, Reiser wants a bumblebee, but one engineer proves the dragonfly's stability in flight by throwing a preserved dragonfly like a paper airplane and flying it across an entire lab.
The Insectoopter is able to mimic actual dragonfly flight by beating its wings with a little gas-powered help.
A single drop of fuel creates tiny combustion bursts to drive the wings, just like a car engine.
Figuring out how to mechanically imitate a dragonfly's flight is huge. But how do you control it? Well, the answer is lasers.
There's a thin metal strip on the dragonfly that, when a beam hits it, expands, adjusting the fuel flow. So an agent basically can point a beam of light at the device and control it to wherever it needs to go.
If the dragonfly can fly 600 feet and then land, you're now listening in on that secret meeting and all of the intel is yours.
In a lab setting, the Insectoopter hits all mission parameters. It flies about 600 feet, lands on cue, and transmits flawlessly.
It's an incredible proof of concept. The miniaturized motor, the laser-guided system, the fact that the audio sensors work, everything performs exactly as intended.
But the lab is not the real world. And guess what's out in the real world? Weather. And even with the smallest crossbreeds, the Insectoopter just can't seem to stay on course.
The bug is simply too light to survive real-world conditions. The project is scrapped, but that doesn't mean it's a failure.
A gasoline-powered microdrone guided by lasers disguised as a dragonfly in 1972, that's not a failure, that's a foundation. It's a hint of bigger things to come.
The Cold War is a golden age for spies and a golden age for catching them. But what if you have an ingenious device that allows your spies to communicate with each other in public places without the enemy ever knowing?
In the 1950s and 60s, one of the big challenges facing American spies is how to receive real-time information while in public.
Anybody working at the U.S. Embassy in Moscow, which is one of the primary locations where CIA is embedded, knows that on any given day, you'll have up to 20 different people tailing you. It's estimated that the KGB has 50,000 assets and informants in Moscow alone.
If you're a handler or a case manager running an agent, you still need to get their intel and know if a mission is a go or not. But if you meet face-to-face, a KGB tail is going to make you. So how do you get those messages in public without anyone knowing?
Remember, there are no cell phones, no texts, no digital communications of any kind.
If you want real-time information, your best bet in the 1950s or 60s is a private radio transmission like a walkie-talkie. But the problem is, those are easily spotted.
There are some small radios that include earpieces, but a trained KGB operative would know what that is right away.
The CIA needs a receiver, so agents in the field can receive and listen to radio broadcasts even when they're on the street. Something that doesn't look like a walkie-talkie and doesn't have an earpiece.
The CIA's Office of Technical Services works on the problem and comes up with an ingenious solution: the pipe radio. Engineers at Technical Services conceal a miniature radio receiver inside the stem of a pipe. That's only possible now because of tiny transistors, which have replaced the bulky, fragile vacuum tubes of earlier radios.
In the 1950s and 60s in the U.S., pipe smoking is at an all-time high. Everyone from Bing Crosby to Hugh Hefner to Walter Cronkite is puffing away on one. They're sophisticated, but more importantly, they're ordinary. They're the perfect camouflage.
The pipe also holds up under scrutiny if you're being searched and somebody asks you to pull everything out of your pockets or even show you the pipe. It has no obvious plugs or wires. It's a super clean design.
So how does a pipe with no visible wires or earpiece receive radio signals an agent can actually hear?
The normal way we hear sound is through vibrations in the air that enter into our ear hole, vibrate our eardrum, which then transmit those vibrations into our brain, where it's then translated.
With something called bone conduction, you skip the eardrum entirely. When the agent bites down on the pipe, those vibrations travel through his teeth and jaw straight into the inner ear. The brain still gets the signal. It just feels like it's coming from inside his own head.
It's the same effect as when you plug your ears, but you can still hear your own voice. Or if you're crunching something like potato chips and they're so loud in your head, that's bone conduction.
The pipe radio also makes it possible for leadership to communicate in real time to a field operator, giving them changes in orders, nuanced intel, some kind of new direction. And they do it all without the use of paper or any kind of encryption right in front of the enemy.
But the pipe radio has a limitation.
The biggest drawback to the pipe radio is that you can't fill it with tobacco because the sensitive receiver inside would be damaged. Don't even think about lighting it up.
It's like hiding a small camera in a pack of cigarettes, but there aren't any cigarettes in the pack. So it looks good at surface level, but it's not 100% foolproof.
The pipe radio is also only a receiver. The agent can listen to messages, but he can't respond to them unless he uses other means.
Intelligence ops that use the pipe radio are still classified, but that doesn't mean it stayed in the lab.
We know from declassified training documents that the pipe radio was included as a cover item available to operators before they deploy. That suggests that the tool was actually live in the field and that those operations where it was used remain classified to this day.